married and your other half hates football. Maybe you're going to a wedding. Maybe you're starting a new job or you're going somewhere on a Saturday. You're going to be in transit. We're joined now by sports broadcaster and presenter on Two Mikes Television, Mike Parry. And today, Mike, you're going to be our agony uncle.
I certainly am, and I'm delighted to be so. I have history with this and experience, Jeremy.
Right.
In 1966, I was a junior schoolboy. My dad took a chance, put us in his Morris Minor and said, we will get to Butlins Bognor Regis from Chester before kick-off. Don't worry. We started off at 3:30 in the morning. Guess what? We never made it for kick-off for the World Cup final in 66. I was the only boy in my class who went back after the summer but couldn't admit I didn't see the World Cup final for that very reason.
And in those days, you just couldn't stop at a service station and watch a TV. It wasn't
Couldn't
possible.
watch it anywhere. And what's more, it took me years to be able to get a copy of it to watch it properly.
All right. So you may be en route to Butlins. You may be doing something. You're maybe on a plane. Maybe you're getting married. What is it? Let's see. Johnny is near Dover. Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
Hi, Johnny.
So you've got a wedding.
I'm getting married tomorrow.
Oh, you're getting married, right, OK.
All right, take us through the logistics. Let's see what we can work out. What time does the wedding start?
The service is at 2:30 in a church.
Oh, right in the middle of the build-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OK.
So, and then the reception is later on, so I'm hoping that people can catch the second half.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, I think you should compromise here. You're absolutely right about the second half. The way the game works, of course, is kick-off at 3, so we can say the second half starts about 4 o'clock, OK? The ceremony's well over, and then you should be on your way to the reception. Now, I think you're going to have to pull the stops out here, Johnny. Get an extra bus hired for tomorrow. Get people on that bus and get them to somewhere near the reception that's got a big telly and got a room. Now, I know you're going to say, but that will disrupt the best day of my life, and you have to take into consideration my bride.
Doesn't matter.
But remember, absolutely, Johnny, this is a positive national crisis. It's not a negative national crisis, it's a positive national crisis. And with positive national crises, we all have to do our bit. If we were fighting a war, we'd have to put our back into it, but we're not. We're fighting for success.
Okay. First of all, we must mention your fiancée, Johnny. What's her attitude to football? This is crucial.
There's no... Well, she enjoys the football a little bit more than I do.
OK, helpful, yep. So there's no issue there. What is going...
issue with the football.
When the wedding starts at 3 in the church, whatever you do, even if you search people like they do in Checkers and take their phones off them, you are going to have someone in there with a pair of earphones. No question, right? And when England score, that person's going to go crazy. And they won't be able to control themselves. So how do you manage that, Johnny?
Well, I'm just hoping it's not the vital question if anyone has any objections and someone shouts.
Well, you see, John, I think you should encourage people to shout out and keep us up with the scoreline if England score. If England don't score, if it goes disastrously wrong and Sweden score, you don't want anybody to shout out. But just imagine, in 25 years, you and your bride can say, you won't believe it, 10 minutes into the wedding ceremony, somebody shouted from the back, England are 1-0 up. We might go on to win the World Cup, you know. This could be so historic. What a moment that would be.
Thank you, Johnny, very much indeed. I was mentioning to Ken Bruce earlier, Mike, I saw a tweet while Leicester were on that winning streak, which eventually led to them winning the Premiership. And a woman tweeted, "Oh, great, my boyfriend has just stood up and shouted, 'Oh, God, yes,' after Leicester scored and we're in the middle of a christening."
Yes.
Now, there's a danger of that.
Good. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think that the bringing together of the country, right, and remember, the bringing together of a country is so important to our country. Did you know that in 1954, when Germany won the World Cup, that triggered the German economic revolution, which is there until today? The feel-good factor is so important. How could you feel better during your wedding than knowing your country is on its way to winning the World Cup?
Is there any way, right, you sit down with the vicar and you say, and I'm not being frivolous here, we have to have a TV at the front of the aisle, and when they're on free kicks and corners, whatever it is, or just the ball's just being dribbled, we get some vows out the way. As soon as England move forwards, we'll watch the TV.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. And do you know what else I'd do as well? I'd get to the media people at the Football Association to issue a statement tomorrow morning saying, you know, we have empathy and sympathy with those who won't be able to watch it live, but for all those surrounding situations which you can't watch live, please be as helpful as you can. This is a mighty day in the history of our nation.
OK, Nigel in Eastbourne, what is your problem tomorrow?
Hi, Jeremy. I run a wedding car show for business, and
we have a wedding where the ceremony is at 5 o'clock.
Not bad.
Which kind of sounds good.
Yeah, it's good.
But what you've got to remember is I've got to take the groom first.
Yes.
And then I've got to go back and take the bride to the ceremony. So I'm going to be tied up pretty much the whole second half, which is obviously the crucial part of the game.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, what about a car? Well, sorry, what about a TV in your car? You know, with modern technology, you can have somebody sitting in that car holding an iPad, a laptop, or something like that to keep you right up to date with what's going on. And let's not forget, pal, that those involved in the ceremony which you are coordinating will want to know.
I think that could work for the groom. I'm not sure about the bride, though.
Well, find out if she likes football or not. There's more women football supporters in this country now than there ever have been, and many of them are very knowledgeable and very, very enthusiastic.
What about thinking a little bit more dramatically here, Nigel? Why don't you say to them, look, can I take you to the church an hour early? Because it will give you more time to prepare.
Yes.
I think that sounds like a good plan. I might discuss that with them. That sounds like an excellent plan.
Say, I'll pick you up at 2, get you to the church at 2:30, and then you won't be stressed at all.
Well, of course, the other thing, the groom might just actually say, why don't we just pull up, watch the game, and then go back and get the bride there a bit later?
Yeah,
well,
brilliant.
of course.
Don't forget the bride, for goodness sake.
No, you mustn't forget the bride. The other alternative is to do the likelihood scenario, right? Make sure nobody hears anything about the game during the whole ceremony, and when you get to the reception, which I'm sure is a beautiful establishment, they will have recorded the game, and you put them all in a sealed and locked room, and then you play the game through for the 90 minutes without anybody having known what was going on.
I don't know. I just think there will be people who, whatever they're doing, Mike, they're going to have a radio earpiece in.
Oh, of course they will.
Even if it's the groom, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So, and they'll shout when there's a goal.
Well, the groom presumably will have his brother there or his best man or something like that, passing messages.
Really
and all that.
difficult.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on, Jeremy, you and I are of the age when I used to sit in a classroom on a Monday morning with a little ear plug in from my little transistor radio, listening to the FA Cup draw every Monday morning, and it made my life better to know that my team, Everton, had suddenly been drawn at Bedford Town.
All right, Ewan McGowan in Dundee, you want to just put some realism into this, Ewan, that we've got priorities here, right?
I think you do. Good afternoon, Jeremy.
Hello there.
I think it's a disgrace that we're even discussing this. These people have got their marriage sorted out maybe a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The bride has had enough stress to bother about getting organised for the day. Never mind that England happens to be playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And also, have we also got the state of, if we're getting married, well, let's put marriage to the side because there's a football match.
Not at all. Let's enhance the ceremony. And by the way, Ewan, nobody's going to accuse you of being a bitter Scotsman on my pal Jeremy's programme, but that's what you're starting to sound like, you know.
Well, can I just say that I'm the worst one for saying that because I do not like football, full stop.
You don't like football?
That's what they all say.
You're a Scotsman. And you're not in the competition.
All right,
so
well, hang on.
do you have a valid case here, Ewan? Do you?
Yes, I think the sanctity of marriage. I mean, I'm not one for... I mean, I don't care if folk get married or not, but I think when folk are getting married, that you've had these invitations for about 12 or 14 weeks or whatever.
More than that.
To them. Yeah, you've replied to them and said, yes, we are coming. You're going to a wedding. You are not going to a football match. You have to wait until later on.
No, that's a very good point. OK, look, thank you very much indeed, Ewan, and we'll play some music. And as I say, we have an agony uncle with us, Mike Parry, who can help with these scheduling problems.
Money is the Bentley parked on Wall Street. Money is the new friends you make each week. Money is the inside guy at the bank. Money is the yacht right before it sank. Bet you never thought you'd want so much. Bet you never. You tell a lie, you tell a lie, you tell a lie.
Now, agony uncle Mike Parry is here as a sports broadcaster presenter on 2 Mike's Television. This is a really difficult one because not everyone wants to see the game. Davey in Newcastle, you've got a problem in your, well, a temporary problem, I hope, in your relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely. Jeremy, hi, Mike. Hi,
Mike.
Yeah, hi, Davey. Yeah.
Take us through it, we can help.
This is what it is, Reed. I'm going to Spain tomorrow with my wife on holiday.
Right.
Okay.
And when we're landing by the time we get to the hotel, the game should just be about to kick off.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's just...
So what's the problem?
She says, "You're not watching football when we're going on holiday, are you?"
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen.
Oh dear.
Knowing young ladies as we do, she might want to get into the old spa and get herself, sort of freshened up after a long journey like that. And I'm not being, by the way, I'm not being rude. She might be a football fan.
You're not stereotyping, no.
No, she might want to join you, but she said now she doesn't want to watch the football. But I think the thing to say is, mate, why don't we get this holiday off to a cracking start by both doing what we want to do in the first few hours of holiday? I'm going to watch the football. You go to the spa. Meet you for dinner.
That sounds spot on. I'm going to give her a couple of £100.
Exactly.
Watch the match with the lad.
And it's worth it.
Exactly.
So, but don't. I would only say don't mention the football initially because that might cause a problem. Just say I've got a great idea. As soon as you arrive. You're going in the spa,
Yeah, support
and
the spa
I won't even trouble you in there for 2 hours.
Absolutely.
How about that, Davey?
Brilliant, thanks, lad.
What a boy.
Well done, solved it. We should do this every week with different problems. We could do emotional problems, everything. Jane in Devon emails, Dear Jeremy, I'm going to see the lovely Aidan Turner in a play. So he's the guy who got his kit off in Poldark.
Yeah.
Now, she says, to go or not to go, that is the question. It's so Jane is a football fan. This is great. World Cup turmoil versus emotional turmoil when I see him in the flesh.
Yeah.
Could I plug myself into a radio and gaze at Aidan simultaneously?
No, definitely not.
Not
Jane,
in a theatre, no.
Jane, give up Aidan Turner. Give up Aidan Turner. We all know Aidan Turner is brilliant in Poldark. I've read the reviews of this show he's doing in London. Yeah. He's getting top reviews there because he's turned his hand to comedy and apparently he's doing very well at it. But Jane, you only get one opportunity to see England move into the second semi-finals or third semi-finals of our lifetime, OK? Italia 90, 66, obviously, and this one. You will get a chance to see Aidan Turner on the stage again. And just on the balance of probabilities, which will you see again? Which are you more likely to see again? You're more likely to get the opportunity to see Aidan Turner again and less likely to see England repeat this magnificent run.
And we've got to, at this point,
give it up.
Feel sorry for Aidan Turner because he can't escape that stage.
No, he can't escape that stage. He's contracted. Having said that, it would not. You could not put it past a West End impresario, a big friend of mine, Mr. Bill Kenwright, who's the England chairman, all that.
Yeah.
If you said, I tell you what, we're closing down for one afternoon because there's another big national event going on, that might be an idea. Not that I'm trying to take business away from the theatres, but it will stop a dilemma.
OK, good stuff. Jason Fenn in Porthcawl text, I invited all my friends to my 50th birthday weeks ago. The party's tomorrow and starts at 3 p.m. Oh, no.
Well, what's the problem? If you've got a party, what you do with parties is, OK, you're suggesting there not everybody's necessarily a football fan, but what you do at parties is you say, this is a party and you're here to enjoy yourself. Room A for football fans, room B for non-football fans,
here's the problem.
Room C for the rest.
It's a barbecue on the beach.
Barbecues on beaches are not a problem these days. I don't know if you saw the picture of John Terry in the back garden of his lovely home in Surrey. He brought in and erected a huge screen in his back garden, right? He's invited neighbours around to watch the game.
Has he?
Get that organised on the beach, OK? If the beach has got any sense whatsoever, that's what you have to do. It's positive national crisis time.
OK, my worry about that, if I was running the birthday, you know what happens to the TV? There's someone who is responsible for it. They can't get the sound to work every single time. And it's like, I'm really sorry, we've got no sound. And then the picture goes, and you're responsible.
No. Let me tell you this.
It's too stressful.
I know exactly what you're saying there, Jeremy, and we know that the technology will be complicated, but you've got to remember the great thing about watching outside football is all you need is access to the pictures because you, in some way in your ear, can get the commentary from somewhere else.
Good point.
You can get it from your radio station, you can get it from your iPod, as long as you can see the pictures, and it may be a 2-second delay between a goal being scored and you picking up on it, but you don't have to get sound from a screen anymore.
Yeah, and also we should say you've got to be on watching for at least half an hour before because the build-up's very important. Mark Roberts in the Wirral, you are actually going to be airborne.
I am, yes.
Yeah.
What are you flying, Mark?
I'm going to fly a Spitfire.
You're going to fly a Spitfire? My God, that's fantastic. What an opportunity.
Won't have a TV on board, though. Well, you say now you're tempted, Mike, are you, to...
Well, what time do you take off in your Spitfire, please?
About 2:30.
2:30? Well, how long's the flight?
It's an open-ended because you've got to do a bit of training first.
Yes, OK. And what time do you expect to be back on the ground?
About 30 seconds later.
But seriously, you'll be
about an hour.
Right, if you are there for the start of the second half, you've cracked it. Remember, there's a way of watching football matches, and that is that if you can't watch the first 3 quarters now, the first half, you can watch the highlights of the first half during the half-time break, and you can watch the full highlights of the game at the end of the game. So don't, beat yourself up if you're not watching the first 45 minutes live. As long as you put your heart into the second half and your heart is still with your country, you're still a winner, particularly as you're flying around in a Spitfire.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much indeed, Mike Parry, as well. Brilliant. What great advice.
My love, lover, before him there was no other.